Welcome to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. We're doing live, Facebook Live here again today. We've got our magistrate, Jimmy Wilden, also with us remotely today, so it's good to have him back in our meetings. As is customary, we like to open our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. Today we've got a special guest, John Coco. He's with Horse Soldier Bourbon, President and CEO, is that correct? Yes, sir. Right title? He's also a veteran, served his country, and I've asked him if he would open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you all will please stand.
Please join me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and call this meeting to order then. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. We do have one change I need to put forth. On item, let's see, the one that talks about the McLaughlin, here it is, item 16. There's a motion made by Magistrate Strunk and seconded by Magistrate Wilson to remove 300 foot of J. McLaughlin Road. That needs to be 300 feet or to the property line. We weren't sure the exact distance there. So that would be the only change I would put forth. You all have any other changes or additions?
Motion to accept with changes.
Second.
There's a motion by Strunk, a second by Wilson. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Have no old business. We do have some items in new business. First item we need to address. If you remember back in 2015 or 16, we had Rock Lick Road, had a slide, and we got some emergency monies from the state, and they pay 80% of the funding for that, and we pay 20%. Well, we got a notice from the state that says that we didn't have all of our receipts turned in, so we went back and looks like we're about $44,000 short, or they've paid us $44,000 more. However, we are still in the process of finding receipts, but in order to get our CRA money now for 2021, we need to settle this $44,000 with them so that they'll release the $1.8 million to us for this budget year. And if we do continue to find receipts, they will reimburse us the $44,000, and we do anticipate being able to find that. It's just all boxed up and in files and in the vault, and it just takes time to go through everything and find the receipts and the canceled checks. But anyway, they would ask us to approve this agreement and also a resolution. So probably need to do the resolution first. Yeah, so if you bring out your resolution there first, this will require a roll call vote, but we need a motion and a second to approve this resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? Have a roll call vote, please.
Turpin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wilden,
yes,
Renshaw,
Yes.
Strunk.
Yes.
Motion carries. And then the second part of that will be the approval of the agreement for the County Emergency Road Aid Agreement.
Motion. Second.
A motion by Ranshaw, second by Turpin. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have the SAFER grant resolution. If you remember, this is a grant that Rick Haynes has worked on for a few years, and for one reason or other has not been able to get the grant. Now we're trying once again to get this recruitment and retention grant for the fire departments. We just need to approve this resolution so he can move forward with it.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we need to ask permission from the court to advertise the CAECO reverse salt auction coming up.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk and a second by Ranshaw. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to our department reports. First report, we have the road department. You've got in front of you the road work requests. Don't believe there's a speed limit change in those, unless I'm overlooking it. Without that, we'd entertain a motion to approve the road work request as presented.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Branshaw and a second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we've got a request to purchase 3,000 tons of rock.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. On the line of road departments, how are all the repairs coming from the storm damage, the funding and all that? Just give the citizens an update on, because there's a lot of damage out there.
I got to finish this vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Now, what was your?
Just an update on how the progress is coming along on repairs of the roads and funding, getting those funds that we need to repair the roads.
Well, repairs coming along. We are making progress. There was, as you know, and as everybody knows, there was significant damage throughout the county, and we're still discovering damage that obviously you found a bridge yesterday that we didn't know was damaged. We're going to have to look at now. So we are, at this point, making sure that everything is passable, trying to make everything as safe as possible, but there are several areas that still need cleaned up and going to need maintenance work, and we'll get to those. It's just, it's one of those things that takes time, and as I talked to you this morning, right around the corner is mowing season, and we're going to be all hands on deck trying to keep our right-of-ways mowed. So we're trying to play catch-up from this storm and doing the best we can. Our road department is doing a good job, but it just takes a while to get everything cleaned back up and in normal condition.
How's the property loss reporting coming? Because I ran into somebody Saturday that his driveway was completely just like our roads. Blacktop was washed out and his basement was completely flooded. But I asked him if he reported it to the Emergency Management Center, and he said no. I said it's important that we make sure everybody who had damage in the county report that.
We've tried to advertise that and tried to ask for people to send in, and a lot of people have sent in things. The one problem we're running into there, Mark, with FEMA, they have to have 25 households that show 40% or more structural damage. And what we're seeing is most of what's happened here is not structural damage. It's personal property damage and, cleanup and ruined carpet, but it's not structural damage. And so therefore, until we cross that threshold, FEMA is not getting involved coming down to do inspections. So I know the mayor has had a couple, he's with us today. Thank you for coming, Mayor. I know in the city they've had 2 or 3, I think, that received that significant amount of structural damage. And we've had a couple in the county, but I don't know unless people come forward showing structural damage, I don't know if we're going to get to that threshold to have FEMA.
But even if they don't reach that threshold, will FEMA still come in and do small, low-interest loans on the people that just had flood damage? Do you know?
I don't have that answer for
Okay.
you. I can check into that, but I know as far as county damage, it's different from
Right.
the residential damage. What we do, when the state declares a state of emergency, and then the county also declares a state of emergency, and the counties around us do the same, then at that point, we have a threshold that we have to cross as a collective group of counties showing damage. And once we pass that threshold, if we do, then FEMA comes in to help with our road construction and reconstruction costs and bridge reconstruction costs. But we probably won't know that now for a little bit of time. You know, Aaron Ross is not with us today. He's the one that works directly with FEMA on that. But we are gathering all the information we can. We're doing our best to try to get funding for this.
Thank you.
Judge, on the road work, we need to add 5,500 gallon of total patch oil.
We've got a request to add 5,500 gallons of patch oil.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Ranshaw. Was that Wilden said second? Yep. Second by Wilden. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Dan. All right, next, then we'll go to our jail. We've got Jailer McCullum is with us today. Would like to speak to the court.
Good morning. Good to have you with us, Jimmy. First off, I'd like to ask permission to bid for an equipment shed. We've got quite a bit of equipment that sits out in the weather, especially back during the ice storm. You know, we had some minor damage to the equipment. This will be taken out of commissary. It will be no cost to the court, but we will need permission to bid and to have one built.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Strunk. We have any further discussion?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The second item is my 2021 budget. The budget remains the same as it was last year at $4,422,635. It did not increase any, nor did it go down. It remained the same.
I guess we'll,
Have to accept it,
we need a motion to accept it or just,
Martin. If we're accepting his budget, do we have to have a motion or just, yes?
Motion.
we have a motion by Wilson,
Second.
second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
All right, thank you all.
I wanted to thank you too. I know your crews have been out busy cleaning up trash on the roadways and although it's very helpful, I'd like to get the public to be a little caring and not throwing trash out to begin with, but we do appreciate your willingness to help clean up what our people are throwing out.
Thank you. We've tried to, especially with the flooding and everything else, we've tried to get them out to those areas because all the trash and washed up. So we've been trying to get it cleaned up, and our goal is to try to at least get the main areas clean before our tourist season comes. So we've been focusing on them, and then we'll start branching out to the secondary roads.
On that note, I've been thinking, and a lot of people have been calling me on that trash issue. I mean, you guys do a great job, and our recycling center does a great job. I think at this point, there's so much trash out there and so much disregard for just people throwing trash out or just dumping stuff all over the roads. I think we need to look at maybe expanding the fines and doing it and trying to figure out a better enforcement policy for our trash. I mean, you know, that $500 fine is just not doing the trick of deterring people from throwing it out, and then it's hard to, it's hard to make that enforceable. So I think we need to look at it as a possibility of trying to figure out a way we can do some more enforcement on it.
Yeah, I think enforcement is the key. That's the hard part to, if people actually had to pay the $500 fine, it might deter them from doing it again, but just
And
catching them and prosecuting them and getting a conviction is a difficult
I mean,
thing to do for that.
whether that's making our recycling center director able to write tickets or whatever we need to do more of an enforcement arm of everything, I think that's what we need to do. We need to look into it anyway.
I can look into it. I don't know, I mean, unless you don't know the answer to him being able to write tickets to you right away.
He's not given that authority at this point in time. The problem with those cases.
He can't hear you. I don't know if you can come to the mic. I'm sorry.
The problem, the difficulty in addressing those cases is proof issues. You never have any direct evidence of who's doing it, and there's usually numerous people dumping things unless you put cameras out or something of that nature to catch people, because you'll find trash with numerous people's names on it, and it's hard to zero in on one person without some direct evidence of them actually physically being there dumping the trash.
But is there anything, if we do run across that situation where we know one person put it out there, can we go to the point of start enforcing that? Because there's no articles in the paper or anything where anybody's even been fined for doing it, that we need to try to get that out there, that we're
Well, you
enforcing
can't
it.
just fine people, you have to convict them
Well, I
before
know
you can
that.
fine them. And that's the hard part, is convicting them, because again, we don't have direct evidence. We've never not prosecuted them if we have direct evidence of who committed the crime, but just having a magazine with somebody's name on it typically is not going to be sufficient for conviction beyond a reasonable doubt. But we've never, I mean, we'll prosecute the cases if we've got evidence that leads us to believe we've got a prosecutable case.
Thank you.
It's definitely a problem here. We're trying to get people to be aware of, and I know that we've got an initiative going with our solid waste recycling center, Chamber of Commerce, SPEDA, tourism, I think's involved. Don't want to leave anybody out. But they're getting ready to have a massive cleanup day. Probably be the biggest cleanup in the history of Pulaski County. So pay attention for that, be a part of it. Get your local groups involved, because I think if local groups are willing to put their teams out there, that instead of fundraising, I think there's monies available to be able to collect for your child's club that they're in, if they wanted to do some fundraising throughout this effort too. So we will be advertising this, and be on the lookout for that, and get everybody involved, and hopefully we'll just regain a sense of pride in our community and not throw it out in the first place. But that's a battle we face constantly. All right, let's move on to our 911. We've got bid opening for radio consoles. I think we just have one bid turned in. Is that correct?
That's all I see, Judge. Looks like it's from RidgeNet. It's hand delivered on March 19th at 2:46 p.m. Where's Aaron? Is he taking possession of this? Probably more here than I can interpret, but
Saying he's having a little trouble hearing you again. You might want to get you wired up for a mic.
I don't need that. As best I don't know if this is the entire bid or not, but $93,471.13, and then a maintenance fee of monthly of $375. That looks to be the proposal, but I would suggest that you all need to accept it for review.
Take a motion to accept bid for review.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and I guess, Dan, I'll ask if you would be on that committee along with Aaron, and Jason Hancock to review that bid, please? Okay, thank you. Moving on, for our animal shelter, we've had a personnel change with the transfer, actually, and it's just a request to transfer. Nate Boyd has requested to transfer from road department over to the animal shelter. Adam has been looking to fill a animal control officer role there, and Nate has put in for that position, so we went ahead and transferred him. Just want to make you all aware of that. I don't think that needs a vote, does it?
Nope.
And as far as the new position, we're let you know how we're doing that. We think that we can take the responsibilities of that office manager over there and absorb those into our existing personnel. So at this point, we're not going to try to rehire that, and we'll see how that works, if that suits you all. Treasurer report. Joan, you've got a fund transfer, it looks like.
All I have today would be fund transfer. I have two. One to the road fund, one to the 911 fund. Both are from the grant fund, and both are $100,000 each.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson and a second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we don't have
I
any.
believe that's all I have, so thank you. Hi,
Thank you.
Jimmy.
Thank you, Joan. Don't have any citizens' comments on record here. We do have an issue that I think we need to go into executive session for. There's a property purchase trying to be made right now, and we'd like to hear from the ones buying the property and the intended use for the property. But we're afraid if we don't want this to affect the sale price or the ability to purchase the property in question. So we'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So, if you don't. Okay, we've come back from executive session back into open session here. Just want to let you know that no action was taken in executive session. We did have discussions, but with no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have two motions. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.